Ohio is a state in the Midwestern region of the United States. Ohio is bordered by Lake Erie to the north, Pennsylvania to the east, West Virginia to the southeast, Kentucky to the southwest, Indiana to the west, and Michigan to the northwest. The state's capital and largest city is Columbus. Overall, the state has got 88 counties. The state of Ohio covers almost 45,000 square miles in total area, including both water and land. This makes it the 34th largest state in the country. The state's name derives from the Iroquois Indian word meaning good river or large river. In the past, the region was inhabited by different Native American tribes. The first known non-native person to reach the area was French explorer Robert de La Salle, who arrived around 1670. French fur traders followed and began to settle in the area, but in 1763, the British claimed the area after winning the French and Indian War. After the Revolutionary War ended in 1783, Ohio became part of the American territory. Ohio became the 17th state in 1803. The Ohio and Lake Erie Canal opened almost 30 years later and connected Lake Erie with the Ohio River. That made it much less expensive to ship goods from the east, so more settlers started arriving in the state. The state is mostly made up of plains, but it can be divided into 5 geographical regions. Lake Erie shoreline. The Ohio shoreline lines 312 miles of Lake Erie, from Conneaut in the east to Toledo in the west. The eastern shoreline consists of 10 to 18-foot clay bluffs. The western shoreline consists of beaches of clay and sand. The bluegrass region. This region, spilling north from Kentucky, consists of hilly and gently rolling land. The bluegrass region comprises a small triangular area of land in southern Ohio. The soil is thin and not particularly fertile. The Appalachian Plateau. The Appalachian or Allegheny Plateau covers the eastern half of Ohio, south of the Lake Erie Plains. The northern part of the Appalachian Plateau consists of rolling hills and valleys. The southern two-thirds of the Appalachian Plateau consists of steep hills and valleys and is the most rugged area in the state. The soil is thin, not very fertile. This portion of the state is blessed with beautiful scenery and Ohio's most abundant mineral deposits. The Teal Plains is a large area in the west and center of the state that's also very fertile. In fact, so much corn grows there that it's considered the beginning of America's corn belt. The lowland region contains the highest point in Ohio, Campbell Hill, but it is not even high enough to be considered a mountain. In the north, where Ohio borders Lake Erie, the land takes on the characteristics of the Great Lakes Plains. The Great Lakes Plains run along the Great Lakes from Wisconsin to Ohio. In northeast Ohio, the Great Lakes Plains, referred to as the Lake Erie Plains, along Lake Erie, expand about 10 miles south into Ohio from the banks of the lake. This fertile lowland widens as it rolls west until it is more than 50 miles wide in the Maumee Valley. Ohio experiences a humid continental climate. Summers are typically hot and humid throughout the state, while winters generally range from cool to cold. Precipitation in Ohio is moderate year-round. The precipitation rate typically totals at about 40 inches annually, including an average annual snowfall of 28 inches. The state's major rivers are Ohio River, Cuyahoga River, Miami River, Maumee River, Muskingum River, Scioto River, Sandusky River. Besides Ohio's fertile soil, the state is also known for coal, natural gas, and rock salt. Mined from beneath Lake Erie, the state produces about 5 million tons of salt a year. From just over 45,000 residents in 1800, Ohio's population grew faster than 10% per decade until the 1970 census, which recorded just over 10.6 million residents. Growth then slowed for the next 4 decades. The United States Census Bureau counted 11,800,000 people in the 2020 census, a 2.4% increase since the 2010 United States Census. The largest cities in the state are Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Toledo, Akron, and Dayton. The Cincinnati metropolitan area extends into Kentucky and Indiana. The Steubenville metropolitan area extends into West Virginia, and the Youngstown metropolitan area extends into Pennsylvania. In 2021, the real gross domestic product of Ohio was $615.4 billion. This is a significant increase from the previous year, when the state's real GDP stood at $589.9 billion. In 2019, the per capita real GDP of Ohio stood at $52,000, a good location, a rich store of natural resources, productive soils, cheap energy, and ample transportation facilities have made Ohio one of the great industrial states. Ohio is a fascinating state with great history and cool traditions.